Hello, welcome back to Visionary Fragrances. Today we're talking about two fragrances. We're going to compare Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo versus Rochas Moustache. If you're unsure which one to buy, hopefully this video will help. Enjoy. So starting things off with Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo. I find this opens up very sparkly and very bright, and this has almost an airy quality to it. So you've got bergamot in the opening, and it does smell very airy and very fresh. As you go through to the dry downs, after the first few minutes and you start to get the heart notes that come through, that is when the most important notes come through. And to me, that's going to be sweet vanilla, amber, and patchouli, and they're the notes that I want you to focus on from now on. The the fresh airiness is only going to be in the opening. So as you move on into the complete dry down, which will last for between 4 and 5 hours on my skin, you are going to be left mainly with sweet vanilla and patchouli. Now, if you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that I'm absolutely loving fragrances with vanilla and patchouli, and I find it to be such a beautiful scent combination, and that is one reason why I absolutely love Tuxedo. And what I find with Tuxedo, you've also got this ambergris accord, and it adds this kind of saltiness to the base with the vanilla and the patchouli, and it just smells incredible. One thing that I've noticed with Tuxedo is how incredibly balanced it is. It's a very balanced fragrance, and everything that's put in here feels like it's meant to be there. It feels like it's a work of art almost, and that you couldn't take away or add anything to this to make it any better. The name Tuxedo suggests that you should wear it to a black tie event or a formal occasion, and it would work well for that. But in my collection, I wouldn't choose to wear this to a black tie event or a formal occasion, simply because I would prefer to wear something that stands out a little bit more. This for me is a really perfect date night fragrance. It performs like a date night fragrance, and when you wear a fragrance to a date, especially a date in the early times when you don't know the person all that well, this is what you would want the fragrance to smell like and perform like. You don't want anything that's going to be too strong and overpowering. You want something that's going to smell very sophisticated, beautiful, and like you've got your life together. That's how Tuxedo smells. It's a beautiful smelling fragrance. It's a work of art, and it's balanced perfectly. That's the best way I could describe Tuxedo. And now we're going to move on to comparing it to Rochas Moustache EDP. Right, moving on to Rochas Moustache EDP. These get compared a lot to each other. Moustache EDP and Tuxedo. In the community, everyone says how they smell very similar. Well, we're going to find out. So in the opening, I think that Moustache opens up very different. You haven't got that sparkle, that airiness, and the kind of freshness that we spoke about in Moustache. This opens up kind of a bit fruity, so you've got a note in there like a mandarin or an orange, and you've also got, as you go past the opening, you've got a kind of a delicate rose note, which Tuxedo has, but it's very faint, and that's why I didn't really mention it, because it's hardly detectable to me. The biggest difference that I find Moustache has with Tuxedo is this is very woody. This has a woody kind of structure to it, which Tuxedo doesn't have. And to me, that is the biggest difference between these two. So it sounds like, judging by how I've described it, that they're not similar at all. The opening is not very similar, and this is a lot more woodier. But the main resemblance, where Moustache EDP smells very similar to Tuxedo, is the base notes of vanilla and patchouli. They're the two notes we spoke about in Tuxedo, and this also has a similar patchouli and a vanilla note, and that is what makes them similar. That is where the similarities come from. There is a difference in the base, though. You haven't got the ambergris accord like you do in Tuxedo. That kind of saltiness that makes this really interesting, that, to my nose, is not present in this. So what I would say the differences are in Tuxedo versus Moustache EDP. This is woodier. It's slightly more fruity in the opening, and you could say, because of the woody notes, that it's more masculine. What I would say about Tuxedo is it's smoother. It is, I would say, it's high quality. If you really dive into how they smell and comparing them on test strips, it does smell high quality, and of course that's what you want when you're paying so much extra. So to sum up then, and smelling them on a test strip after they have dried down, I prefer the smell of Tuxedo. The vanilla is really delicate, it's sweet, and you've got that beautiful saltiness, which I really love, mixed with the patchouli. So this is the Tuxedo, and it is a really beautiful smell. It's smooth, it's classy, and it's just perfectly balanced, as I've already described. Tuxedo, there is certainly a similarity there. There's definitely a similarity, but it's woodier, and the vanilla is not quite as sweet or as smooth. Okay, they're the main differences to my nose, but the similarities are it's going to be mainly focused on vanilla and patchouli. In terms of how similar they are, I would say there's about a 70 to 75% similarity. So you should use this advice and decide which one you want to buy. Of course, Tuxedo is a lot more expensive. This cost 100 ml, I think. 125 ml is about £215. This is a massive 250 ml bottle. And 100 ml of Tuxedo is around £60 now. This is a 50 ml bottle I bought for £40 or so. The 100 ml was sold out, but comparing the 100 ml prices, there is quite a big difference. But you are definitely paying for a smoother smell and higher quality ingredients. But if you only care about them smelling 75% similar, then of course you could go for Tuxedo and it's still going to smell amazing. Well, thank you for watching. Hope you got something from this video. Let me know in the comments which one you've tried and which one you prefer. I'll see you in a few days. Take care.